Testing. Ah, there we go. That solves it. I was wondering what's the problem with my audio, but that seems to repair the issue. Let's lower that a little bit. It's a little loud on my end. Actually, yeah, let me double check on that. Interesting. So it's only audible on. Okay. Bring that up, bring that up. Yeah, I'll just dial down the audio on the Focusrite. And that should do it. Now it's comfortable for me. Yep, bye. Alright. Chill stream, hot noodles, and some 3D design. So let's go over exactly what I've been doing lately, or have been doing for the last, I want to say 3 months on and off. But taking this project real slow because it involves a bunch of techniques I have never used before. The physical techniques too. Like wood carving, epoxy resin casting, which I screwed up a little bit. That's alright. Screwing up is part of the gig. Oh, and the Obus. Classic. This is the remix. Gmail Sun Shower. Okay. Let's get that pen tool up. Size 10 out to do it. This part might actually be better with a line tool, just to keep it consistent. Ooh, that's ugly. Needs a much smaller brush size. Yeesh. 3 maybe. A little closer to the natural brush stroke. Alright, well, close enough. So I just came back today from watching Studio A24's The Green Knight, which was a dark fantasy interpretation of the old Arthurian fable of Sir Gawain meeting up against a mystical knight that allows him on Christmas time to take a blow to his neck. To give a blow to his neck. To give the Green Knight a blow to his neck. From which he magically reappears completely unharmed and says, "In a year from now, it's my turn." And this is probably a story you've read or have experienced when you were a kid, reading up on old Camelot stories, because that's part of the major canon of Western literature. It was always a bit of a weird story. And what A24 really likes to do is make their weird much weirder. Much, much weirder. That was one heck of a story. And I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. Although it's not a movie I would consider particularly gentle to casual viewers. It's full of references, non-Arthurian story bits. It takes itself very, very seriously. There is almost no humor to it whatsoever. And what humor to it in it is in-universe. So we're lacking the baldriness you expect, although there's one pub punch-up scene. And it's more a story of how a coward deals with legendary responsibility. And the reason I liked it so much was specifically because it was a reinterpretation. A rather severe one at that. It took I wouldn't say that old stories of that age are particularly interpreting them through modern literature sensibilities. It doesn't really make sense given the culture of what they were expecting at a time with how things are written, how things are told. But for how traditionally everything was cast, the mood lighting and the inherently dark nature of the retelling from A24 sense, it's a very modern take. Even if there are no anachronistic objects or tools or anything of that matter. But it was a fantasy that could have only been written by somebody who's done a lot of thinking about fantasy and the role of fantasy over the last few centuries. So I just took my first bite of those noodles. I'm already suffering, jeez. Now, the reason why I like stories like that is because I'm very enamored with the idea of a story that can only be told through a modern lens. It has all the trappings of the old legends, but it wouldn't exist at any other time except now. in general, I kind of feel like that's the aesthetic that draws me in best. It's hard to lift up properly. There. Just flick of the wrist. You see a little of it in my character design where I'm taking a very like traditional Chinese male outfit and giving it like a modern cyberpunk kick with heavy Outkast influence, of course. And you're seeing what I'm doing right now, which is the design of an electric guqin. I'm not even sure that's how you pronounce it. Give me a second. That's not how you pronounce it.
Looking.
No, that's not it.
Kuching.
Guqin. I am designing an electric version of the Chinese guqin, which is a 7-string instrument that's literally thousands of years old, and it's considered one of the bedrocks of Chinese culture. But they never made. There's, as far as I can tell, there's ever only been one store that's one manufacturer that's ever made an electric version of this, and their website is dead, which means it never really sold, at least not to any significant extent. The guqin shares a lot of similarities with a lot of other string instruments, and yet its origins are distinctly separate from all of them. It's not guitar. It's not exactly what was it? What's it called? It's not exactly a Western style zither. Although, frankly, there are only so many ways you can design a string instrument in the first place. But what I'm interested in is that for all its highfalutin culture, its design, its evolution has pretty much stalled out for the last few centuries. The orthodox guqin is made with deer's horn lacquer, paulownia wood, preferably from a house that's over 100 years old, silk strings that you have to manually adjust by hand and tie into knots to properly hold into position. And it's not meant to be a loud instrument whatsoever. Although it is semi-hollow body, is not designed to resonate particularly well, nor is it designed to be played at anything more than a leisurely, scholarly tempo, which is ridiculous. All music instruments evolve over time, and the way they evolve is not to be trapped as an item for the one percenters. Even like orchestral instruments had to evolve from like the difference between orchestral violin and a humble peasant's fiddle ultimately isn't all that much. Yeah, the kuchin is made and treated for centuries as solely the object of nobility. And what I want to do is ask a simple question. What if it had been allowed to proliferate instead? Because, like, this thing is ultimately, when you get right down to it, a piece of wood with string attached in such a way that you can play it on your lap. A peasant can make this and learn how to play it well. So my question is, if the kuchin was allowed to evolve, if Eastern cultural hegemony, if the ultimate path of the world's cultural hegemony lied more eastward than westward, what would this have ended up being? Like, if it was normalized as more of an everyday thing instead of like a prized orchestra only instrument. Now, the kusan, its bigger, vaster, more harp-like cousin, it's not something I can see being an everyday object. It has like 24 strings. You need like you need like small mouths to give its intonations adjustments, and that's an instrument that'll take a lifetime to study. This thing, conceptually to me, is something that should be something you can pick up and mess around with, right? If you happen to break the string or you drop the kuchin and it cracks somewhere, you can just ask your friend to make you a new board and a new string, something like that. Like, it's only been relatively recently that the strings have been wrapped around a steel cord instead for longer longevity and for like a different tonal value. And still some traditionalists prefer if you use like pure silk, which is ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is a bit of cultural blasphemy. As a third country kid, what I'm going to do is take the kuchin and make it electric, Western style. This has been done before, but what they've generally done was attach a piezoelectric pickup to the bridge instead of what I'm doing, which is a full electric pickup, a full single coil design, using a Seymour Duncan inspired method of not using the Alnico pole pieces that you usually see, which are like those little stacks of pillar magnets that are usually like put into electric guitar pickups, but a single block of galvanized steel or iron, if I can get iron, wedged into 3D printed plastic, then wrapped like 6,000-7,000 times with fine copper wiring, like 42-43 gauge copper wiring. I have some in my kit, in my maker's kit. Now, I've done this before. I've actually made a custom single coil pickup before. And I wanted a single coil to like maintain like the more acousticy tone. And I also have like a bunch of like steel rivets I can what was it called? Grommets, steel grommets that I can like wield in here, and then put in a 3D printed cap on top to protect the connections. Feed it into a knob system that'll give me volume and tone control. As simple as it gets. I've made one before on stream, in fact. And a simple plug here that will then feed itself to a guitar style pedal board, giving me a kuchin with full modern electric controls over tone, over distortion, over compression, with a wah pedal, everything. And I'm going to see how that sounds like especially when you play old Chinese classics through that system. It'll take me a while to learn. I've never played the Guqin before. I've only seen it. Although I am told I actually have a relative who's in a music instrument making business who might be interested in this once I complete the project. Starting off, I will only be using a single coil design, but it is in fact, for all intents and purposes, a fully customized single coil design because nobody makes a 5 to 6 inch long single coil pickup. I in fact have one of the bobbins with me right now. I can measure it with this caliper. It maxes out this maxes out like 2.6 inches long and 0.6 inches wide. I have to make a custom pickup, which is why I'm doing this stream today, because literally nobody in the world will be making what I need to make this project. So it's just a damn good thing that ultimately pickups are not magic, electric guitars are not magic, they simply become magic when put in the right hands. But the actual physical build is pretty simple. If you actually go through my archives, you will see that I've also made a 3D printed guitar pickup winding machine, and that was all prelude to this project, to make one single handmade scatterwound ultra large guitar pickup to put into a homemade wood and epoxy resin Guqin. I don't know why I felt like doing this. I don't know why I spent months on doing this. Like, it's been frustrating sometimes, and yet it's still progressed along. So everything I'm doing today is simply measuring out the parts I need, feed it through Tinkercad, then print it out and buy like the galvanized sheet metal I would need to make this instrument come alive. While eating spicy noodles, because I felt like it. Speaking of which, I have to say, I think I prefer the cook packs versus the cups here. For some reason, cup style doesn't seem to be very tasty, not compared to the normal cook on a stove version. I'll be right back. I need to get something to drink. Ooh, spicy. Way too hot. Oh, these noodles. Whew. It's apparently 10,000 Scovilles, which is actually, it's only like not even 1/10, 1/40. This is technically only 1/40 as spicy as my favorite Australian hot sauce. But I haven't had a hot sauce in a long ass time. In fact, I haven't had any real spicy food for a long ass time. If I don't regularly like steel myself against it, it's a little hard to get back into shape for it. Oh. Oh, so spicy. Whew. Alright, where was I? Sorry, struggling there with the heat. With the immense amounts of heat. Okay. What I want to do now is get exact dimensions down for the pickup I'm going to be printing out using my 3D printer. Well, that's why I have a caliper with me. That's why I have the old bobbin I printed out for a different purpose that I ultimately abandoned because it's just the project stopped interesting me. I lose my attention span really quickly. Along with the stuff that I leave around to reference. Where did I put the white one? Oh, whatever. Anyhow, the single coil pickup that I originally used was ultimately 0.677. Six, seven, 8 on certain parts. Well, okay, so that's in inches. Well, I'm going to move it to fractionally. It is approximately 87, 11/16. It's approximately 11/16 of an inch across. So let's use a circle tool for that purpose. I think it'll be best if it was like 5.5 inches. So let's go with 5, 2 inches over here. Now, the traditional distance between the end of the bobbin hole and the end of the bobbin itself, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Interesting. Exactly. Meaning that the overall bar of galvanized steel is exactly 5 inches. Now, As to how thick the bar is, that is also important. Yeah, I don't know yet. Let me see. I think earlier I was thinking about 1/8 of an inch across. That is approximately about this much. Yeah, that's enough. At least I think so. Let me see. 11/16 is approximately 10 out of 16, which is about 5 out of 8. Yeah, looks up. That seems about right. So the galvanized steel bar I'll be working with is approximately 1/8 of an inch thick, 5 inches across, and a minimum, bare minimum, of 3/8 of an inch. No, sorry. Yeah, 3/8 of an inch wide. Each of the covers for the pickup are approximately 1/16 of an inch thick. And the overall thing Where'd I put it? Where'd I put my bobbin? It was literally right in front of me. So the problem with my room right now is that everything's black. So I have a black wallet against a black backdrop with a black pen, a black Wacom, a black mouse, a black keyboard, with of course RGB lights. Makes it hard to find anything once I drop them. Here it is. Okay, yeah. The pickup itself is about 3/8 thick. Which is also approximately the size of the bar. Plus or minus. No. I'm gonna have the bar be full half inch then. Or 4/8. Yeah. And then underneath is glued a simple magnet. Oops. Yeah, the size of the magnet doesn't matter. There'll be small grommets drilled to the side here that can solder the wires onto and then solder on a thicker wire. A thicker shielded, shielded wire. And then you dip the whole thing into soy or paraffin wax, cool it off, install into your string instrument of choice, and you have what is effectively one single coil pickup. Now, the reason why I used the rail design that Seymour Duncan popularized is simple enough. It's easy. And also, the way you play the guitar involves a lot of bending of the strings. If you use only pole piece magnets, It's easy to push the strings out of alignment with the pole pieces, and therefore like not give very strong signal. You deal with a bar pickup like this instead. You get fairly consistent signal, but you have to like hand polish the galvanized steel bar a little bit to get to the right height because there is some height sensitivity issues they can solve with pole piece magnets easy enough, but a little harder to deal with this type. But that's all right. That's why I have a what's it called? A rotary drill tool. Yeah, all you can do is like take the edge of the steel bar, grind it up against the sandpaper while it's spinning, and I can get it to position. I think it'll take some trial and error, but yeah. Now to implement this in Tinkercad. So if you'll give me a second. Alright, now that we have the dimensional notes figured out and measured out and everything else, it's mostly just a matter of implementing it properly. Is there such thing as a rounded square? This guy that looks like the job. Yeah, this will be easier to modify. So squares are approximately the same size as each other. Combine, and there we go, one solid shape. Easy to modify. First thing to modify is, let's see. max 3/8 of an inch. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. Oh wait, no. I cannot make it all in one piece easily. So what I need to do is do it step by step. Meaning what we're looking at here is a total height of 1/16 of an inch, which is 0.0625. Zero 0.6875. And there you go, that's the base. Then you build off of this. Actually, wait. Revert. Copy, paste. There we go. Bottom, middle, and top. That's how it's oriented. Actually, I can get rid of this one then, because this is strictly speaking identical pieces. Oops. Two equals 1, 4 equals 0.25. Is that right? Oh, I know what I did wrong. The thickness. That's what I forgot to measure. That's why it looks all weird. Where's my pickup? Where's the bobbin? Here. That's the white one. Let's see, its internal thickness is about 5/16. .3125. Yep. Another round of spice. Another round of self-torment. And the ultimate height was approximately half an inch. That looks about right. I have the overall shape of the bobbin. I have the dimensions of it. It's going to be 5 and a half freaking inches long. It'll be able to take a galvanized steel insert of 1 inch thickness, a 1/8 inch thickness. It has more than enough space around the bobbin itself to wind about 5 to 6 to even 7,000 times worth of rotations for the copper wiring. And then what we'll have here, ultimately, is extremely long pickup. But I've made one slight miscalculation. It doesn't look as if there'll be enough space for the grommets at first glance. That should ultimately be trivial to solve, though. What if I happen to just like extend this by from 5.5 to 5.75? Oops. Oh, actually, let me think. If I do that, let me think. Do I need it to be double widened in order to like be able to do micro adjustments to the height of the pickup? I think I do, don't I? I need space not just for a grommet to put the wiring, but space also to put mounting screws. I think what I can do it doesn't look too bad. Extend this down a tiny bit for a rather lopsided looking pickup. No. Yeah, just make it 6 across. No, that's 6.3. 6. There we go. You then just like drill small holes over here and over here to put mounting screws with springs on the bottom, so that forces the pickup up. And then you can use the screws to adjust the overall height and balance it against the rest of the string. And there you go. That should be a properly sized single coil pickup for an electric guillotine. Let's combine objects here. Seems like it'll be one solid material. And let me look up, let's see. Metals depot, galvanized steel, sheet metal. Where did I usually buy my stuff? I forgot what the name was. It was MC something, Mike something. Oh, Maxus, that's what it was. McMaster car. Make sure they have the galvanized steel I'm looking for. cast iron can also work. Just as long as like it's properly magnetic. Maybe that's not what I'm looking for. No, it seems to be. Save supplies. Wire, expanded metal. Actually, speaking of wire, do they have proper copper wire? Properly gauged copper? .025 here. Interesting. This is not shielded. I have a set of pre-treated copper wire anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to look into it, but it does matter what kind of copper you're getting, because the guitar copper is usually covered in a what's it called? Covered in a wax-like insulator, and this is not it. It's just like the raw stuff. And that's troublesome because you don't want the raw stuff. You want it to be covered or else it will short itself. But that's alright. We don't need it. Low carbon steel bars with rounded edges. Cheddar Mao noodles. Hell yeah. Less torture for me. Alright, so the overall dimensions of the bar was that it had to be half an inch wide, 1/8 of an inch thick, and then however long it can get for cheap. 1/8 of an inch over here, half an inch is over here. So approximately 1 foot of bar it's only $6.75, $6.54. The pickup? Let me see. So in terms of the pickup, having the bobbin itself is only part one. I have the I have enough magnets to basically have a long, like, magnet set over here. So I need the magnets, the the magnetic transference bar of 1/8 thick metal over here, the copper, and a wax cover to seal it all together. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the wiring. Just to make a pickup set, it's approximately 5 steps. You print it, you put the pieces together, you attach, you solder the wires on, you wax it, and then you link it to the electric harness. It's not too bad, actually. It's not too bad. The most difficult part was designing a custom body for the pickup, and that, as you can see, is pretty much done. What I'm doing here is getting the raw material I need. I can do a CAD file. And like, let me see. 5 inches long means that for every 1 foot of material I can only make 1 mistake. But let's keep it cheap. Yeah, add to order. Oh, 1. Yeah. Let's see. For the external wires, the solder, the electric harness, which I can hand make, I have all the materials in my room. Really, I can make it myself. I think one of my earlier videos showed me making an electric harness for a guitar, and that was for a single coil pickup set as well. Like it's dead simple. Since it's only 1 pickup, I don't need to do any like advanced switching or switch wiring. So I can go directly to the volume and tone control pot instead. Yep. Now I just need to 3D print this, and like choose the color of the material I want to make this out of for the 3D printed part. But yeah, that's pretty simple. All done in under an hour. Good. Yeah, the only thing I need to custom order and don't have available at home is the 1/8 thick bar. I might want to buy another aluminum U channel as well. Oh well, I'll think about that later. Right now, what I want to, let's see. Single coil pickup grommet size. Let me see. How big is the grommet over there? So like this diagram, for instance, is like the most basic common setup for a single coil pickup. This is then like pressuring the wax, single coil pickup, like tuning. Where's the data on the grommet though? That's annoying. Here we are, eyelets. Specifications. The inside diameter is approximately 0.07 inches, which is why we need it. That's how small it is. Times 2. This make it much smaller. All right. So what I'm doing here is making it so that instead of having to drill the grommet hole out, I'll just make it part of the 3D print. Save myself the hassle. I'll still need to drill additional hole on the outside, on the middle over here for the mounting screw. So maybe I'll just make 4. Yeah. Yeah, let's call it one in the middle over here for the mounting screw, and one immediately underneath it for the wiring grommet. And that should hopefully do it. Alright. Oops. Export this as STL. And then I can feed it to my 3D printer, and that'll possibly be all I need to do tonight. What was it called again? The Max Sus guitar. It's been 5 months since I made my first 3D printing. Let me see. So what I wanted to do was make a fully modular version of this, where the pickups can be hot swapped at any time. And I used up most of my YouTube channels to making prototypes of in doing so, and got bored along the way because it wasn't quite working out the way I wanted to. Because this is a really narrow channel ultimately to work with. It was a 3.5 inch wide, 4 foot long pieces of McMastercard architectural U channel. I believe it was the architectural 6063. Oops, I should have closed that. No, wait, no, it was fine. 1/8 thick wall thickness. 1 inch high by 3.5. 1 inch high is approximately right. But I think what I'll go for this time is is that right? Dang, dude! It's $44.74 now. The cost has increased by almost $10 per piece. Oh. Well, that figures. Makes sense. Cost of everything has been going up lately because everybody's been doing garage kits, including me. Actually, what I should check is to see if I have enough U channel left over from previous attempts at making stuff. If so, then I don't need to worry about that. But yeah, that'll be all for now. Thank you for following along. This was ultimately just a chill-ass stream, exactly how I wanted, with a lot of excessively spicy noodles along the way. Jeez. I'm gonna print this out. I can't work on it this weekend because I'm working during the weekend. But hopefully by next week I'll have most of the body carved up and polished up. And see if I need any like take the router to the intended channel and hopefully like have a functioning electric machine worked out next week sometime, hopefully. Yep, have a nice night. And as always, my friends, eat well.